and to China for my first time. And while we were there, in China, we got to visit an orphanage. And this wasn't just your typical orphanage. It was an orphanage for children who had life-threatening illnesses. And actually, I brought some pictures as well. Oh, yeah. There, we got to visit these. It was in Shanghai, and it was called the Shanghai Baby Home. And this baby home has had to fight to stay open because for some reason the government over there doesn't feel like it's worth the money, worth the time. A lot of people in China, they're only permitted to have one child. So when their child has an illness or a defect, well, it's less likely that the parent wants to keep that child. And so when I was over there, I was just really touched by being able to be with these kids. And I've always loved kids, especially now, as we are in the Christmas time, how Christ said, how should we be, even as the little kids? For they are pure of heart, they're humble. And just that purity I love. And to think of these kids, there was a little girl, there she is. Her name was Little Snow. And Little Snow, she was not yet a year old, I don't think. And she had congenital heart disease. And I just loved her cute little smile and just thinking that this beautiful little girl, because of her defect, and she had no family, no home. The government was fighting to close this place down. The woman who runs the Shanghai Baby Home is such a fighter. I admired her so much because she continued to fight for these kids who didn't have a voice. They couldn't even take care of themselves. Sometimes when we're on our own, we can find a way, but these kids, not only were they not there to have a family, to help care for them and love for them, but their life was also on the line. And no, they didn't even have anyone to go through that with them. And I remember a little boy, he had a cast on, a green cast. Green's my favorite color. He was wearing green. And when he came up, and I just picked him up, he just embraced me. It was the first time I'd ever met him. But this little boy who couldn't even talk just wrapped his arms around me and just laid there. And I just felt him. And I realized that all he cared about, he just wanted to feel loved. He just wanted to feel somebody's love. And that really touched me. And on the way back, as we came back to the US, these little kids were on my mind. I couldn't stop thinking about them. That I was coming back, and as just a couple, maybe just last week, I think, or a week and a half ago, we were in Thanksgiving, and I was able to go home. I was able to spend time with my family, being able to, after traveling, and I was thinking about these kids who didn't have a family. Not only that, they didn't even know how long they were going to be alive for, and how long someone was going to keep fighting for their lives. And so I felt like I needed to do something. I don't know how to fix their problems. I don't know how to cure their diseases. I don't know why their families abandoned them. But I knew at least I could speak up for them somewhat. I could tell their story. And so a lot of people ask me, so what is something that what do you like, what do you want for Christmas and things like that? And I just want to say, if there's anything that anyone can give to me for Christmas, it would be to help these kids. And that's why outside, next to the merchandise table, there's another table out there by an organization called Holt International. They're one of the first organizations that was able to enter into China to help with the adoptions in China for these kids. And they're in several other countries that I've been to, like the Philippines and India, where I've also been able to spend time with kids because I love kids. And it just touches me when kids are going through stuff because they don't have a way to take care of themselves. So if you go out there, Dan, our friend Dan is out there, and he can explain to you more how you can help. And I mean, they help sponsor kids, whether they're kids who need to be adopted or kids who their families can't afford to keep them, but they're just a lot of different things. You know what, Dan can tell you, but but if you're interested, there should be some ushers, and they have little pamphlets of these kids on that could use help, that Holt International sponsors. It tells their story, and if you'd like to look at it, you're not committing to the child, you just to look at it. Just make sure that you give it back as you leave, exit, but look at their stories, look at, and think about it, because what Holt International does is basically just $1 a day. Now that's not a lot to be able to change and influence a child's life. There's one even up here that I have, the little girl from Vietnam, Tui, and it tells her story, how her father left home, mother has surgery, is going through cancer treatments, and it just says a little bit of what the child needs. And so if I can ask anything for Christmas, it would be to go and see how you can help one of these kids. So thank you.